Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Renew Podcast, where we are teaching you how to reclaim your life without losing your edge. And with me today, I have, who seems to be our fan favorite, I actually think I've almost been fired a couple times for this, co-hosting duties today. We have the one and only Miss Mia Andre.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
No problem.
And you're here on your day off.
I am bright and early in the morning.
Bright and early in the morning. It's a school holiday.
I could have slept in.
You could have slept in.
But I chose to be here in the studio with you.
I think you were voluntold, but I appreciate it.
Well, I offered.
You did offer.
I offered my services. You said, okay, they like you. Just come on the podcast. I said, fine.
Yeah, so here we are.
Yep.
So here we are. We have Mia with us actually for a few episodes. You'll hear her the next couple of weeks. Yeah. And today, though, we are talking about, we kind of put it out to the audience, like, all right, what do you guys want to hear about when Mia comes? And usually it's music and all that type of stuff. But what kept coming up is that people wanted to hear your thoughts on the future. Kind of like what, not just your future, but the future of this crazy world we're living in. Because, you know, what are you excited about? What are you nervous about? Because, you know, most of us that have been adulting for a little while, I've got a few years of experience of adulting here.
A few more than me.
Yes, definitely a few more than you. So, I mean, I think about the future a lot just because I'm a planner. I just got off my 2-day planning retreat. I did a little staycation.
Oh, I remember that.
You do remember that because you had to go stay at your dad's.
Well, I asked you to get my computer and meet me, but you were like, I'm at a hotel. And I was like, oh, yeah.
I did a 2-day staycation.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. I'm telling you, I stayed at Hotel Avalon here in Atlanta. It was awesome. Had a little spa treatment, did my planning.
Cute.
Had one of my business partners come over and meet me. We did some more planning. It was awesome. Awesome. So I plan for the future a lot. But I feel like kids don't always... maybe y'all think about the future, but don't plan for it. I mean, what do you think? Like, do you think a lot about the future?
I dwell a little too much on the future personally, and I think that's just like anxiety of mine. And I try to stay more in the present, but the future is like what I think about on the daily.
Do you think most teens, because you're a teen now, I shouldn't call you a kid, you're a teen. Do most teens and like teens, 20s, do they think about the future a lot, or are they just kind of living for the right now?
I would think they do, because mostly for my age with college and everywhere.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends don't want to like live here when they're older. So they're talking about like where they would want to move. And I think even younger than me, kids, they do when I grow up, I want to be that thing. And they make their whole life story when they're young and they don't really realize it.
Do you think people, all right, so stay on that for a minute, because I know so many people who are not doing remotely what they thought they were going to be doing when they were little.
Oh, yeah.
Or when they were younger, like myself included.
Yeah.
So how deep do you guys go? Because if you're thinking a lot about the future, you've changed. First time you guessed it on the podcast last year, you had a different major, and now we're in a whole different college and different major. We had to do a new spreadsheet of college choices.
Yeah, we did.
Because you completely changed.
Well, I think that's... kids and teens, they fluctuate in what they want to do or where they want to live and stuff, depending on their life at that moment.
Yep.
But I think that kids, they always come back to like wanting to live in one area or something like that. So they always like think about that in relation to their future in like one job or whatever.
Do you think people, all right, so your age, are y'all focusing the future more on where you want to live, what you want to do?
I did it on what I want to do because that changed where I would want to live. But some people, if they like grew up in some place and they want to stay there because they like that place, they would base it on that. It kind of just depends on your background or whatever.
Well, it's, you know, because you you still want to take a VW bus out road trip into Colorado.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm committing to the van life lifestyle. That's for sure.
Yes. So the good thing with the van life lifestyle is I probably am not going to have to fund as much as I may have to fund with your sisters, because
but you also won't really have somewhere to stay. That is come visit.
That's an excellent point.
Van life is it's a very 2 people at most.
So the beauty in that is and since you're not really a people person.
Yeah.
You can
honestly,
nobody has to come visit you.
I can get stressed out and then just hop in the van and go to the other coast.
So for all of you introverts listening, which is Mia's a total introvert. Yeah. You're definitely an introvert.
I'm like, if you were to open the dictionary to introvert, I would be under synonyms.
There you were. But it's all right. So we've got Tommy listening. He's laughing at the spreadsheet. Tommy, I will tell you, the spreadsheet has been around. This is the second child that has used the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I did not develop the spreadsheet, as crazy as that sounds. So the spreadsheet is their top college choices, where they want to go to college. Her sister Bailey used it. Mia uses it. There's a formula.
Yeah,
I had
so-
nothing to do with this, though. I would like the record to reflect that
So
I did
the
not come up with
spreadsheet,
this.
let me just give you a basic rundown. Each college has a little column, and then there's criteria of like where it is, college experience, tuition, majors, extracurriculars, that kind of thing.
Safety of the city.
And then you, that, I don't know.
It's in there.
I think it was on Bailey's. It
Yeah.
wasn't on mine. So, and then you rank them, and then they get color coded depending on their overall score.
There was color coding.
And then, so then you get to decide, obviously acceptance rate's one of them, and then you decide which one's like ranked top. And you do that depending on your major.
And so these are, all right, so for those of you guys listening who had kids getting ready to go to college and you're going, they're just winging this. No, there's a lot of forethought. I don't know if all your friends did that. I think it was probably just my children that do that. But I had
I don't
nothing to
know
do with a
anybody else who did
spreadsheet.
that.
I've had a couple parents ask me for a copy of it. We should probably patent that and send that thing out. There's a
Honestly.
little formula and
Yeah.
everything. So distance from, Tommy, distance from mom column.
Oh yeah, so there's a like location column, and pretty much the way what I go
Here
off
we
of
go.
is how far above like the line, like above North Carolina is like my line,
Let's just say
and
it.
it needs
She
to be
doesn't like the
farthest
South.
away from that.
She does not like the South.
Yeah. So we're looking at New York, Chicago. Those are my two big cities.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. But the spreadsheet has come in handy. It helped really well with Bailey.
Yes.
She did it when she was looking at law schools. Mia's gotten it. I don't know if we'll use it again after you. We'll
Bless.
just see what happens with
Yeah.
that last one. But it definitely showed me that you were giving a lot of intentional thought to what was the right fit for you for the future.
Yes.
Because I don't know that I did that when I was in high school. My college was selected. I didn't have a spreadsheet. I don't think we had Excel then. But I know, crazy that we didn't have Excel. We barely
no,
had
it's not
computers.
that. It's not Excel. How did you feel like you were in control of your college choices if you did not write down all the different
I
things?
picked the college that was 20 minutes from the beach.
Ew.
I did.
Seriously?
Yes. Absolutely.
Gross. You had to pull up your giant map and
Well,
go,
I knew
know
where it was on
Jacksonville
the
or whatever, right
map.
there.
So yeah, Jacksonville was close to the beach. I booked my classes like, 8 to 11 and 2 to 4, so we get prime tanning hours in the middle. It was fantastic.
Bless.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like we worry about the kids. I worry about the kids a lot. I don't know if the parents watching worry about the kids, but I
They
worry about the kids a lot.
They worry about the kids.
But you guys are putting a lot of, and you're probably not representative of your generation. I don't think you are.
Well, that's rude.
Do you think you're representative of your
No,
generation?
not at all. But
Okay,
I'm
but it's just
saying.
rude when I say it?
Well, I would rather be the one to admit it than somebody tell me.
Mia, do you feel that you're representative of your generation?
Honestly, not really. No,
See?
not at all.
There we have it. But it's, what's really interesting though is I do think a lot of your friends think more about the future than we did because there's a lot more
Oh, yeah,
planning
for
involved.
sure.
Because when we applied for colleges, if we're taking high school, when we applied for colleges, we applied and we sent in an application fee and an essay and we got in. There was not this, we don't know if we're getting in. We got to
There's
find
like
out. There was-
levels of
no.
applications.
Yes, because yours is color coded
And-
like when
and there's
safety
like-
schools and sneeze.
There's like you have to
schools and-
apply to the school, and then you also have to apply to the program.
Yep.
Do you guys have that?
No, we had one applicant. We didn't have the Common App or anything, but we mailed an application with like a fee, and someone made us write an essay. And I really don't know many of my friends that didn't get into where it was not as competitive as it is now. So with that, it was way less stressful.
Lucky? Yeah.
Way less stressful. And I think social media, which we're going to talk about next week, social media plays into that. But I just feel like, in thinking about the future for when I was growing up, we didn't intentionally have to think about it. I think the future just happened. Like I didn't plan for it, not until I got to be an adult. So I think there's just so much more pressure now, which it's hard to live in the present when you're always having to think about the future.
That is beyond different than right now because most people, they like from super young, they're already planning their future. Like I know I do like to the minute detail,
Yes.
which statistically speaking probably won't ever happen.
Yes.
Those like specific things.
And
but
you came by that
but
naturally,
it's-
and I am sorry for
but
that.
but it's like more comforting planning than just letting it happen, because it makes you feel like you're more like in control of your own future.
I think I'm curious, those of you guys listen, chime in that have kids, because I don't know if everybody does that. Because I mean, you do obviously, and you get that directly from me.
A lot of my
'cause I'm the
friends
same
do.
way. Do they?
Yeah, because being a junior, college is like the thing right
Is
now.
that what kids are most stressed about right now? Is college?
Oh yeah. Well, because even for me, college, depending on where I go, will like completely change any course that I originally had, because that'll determine the city,
Yep.
what I like get into, and like what's around that area. Mm-hmm. So like it'll totally change. So I'm focused on getting in to one school because I know what path would be after that.
There's one that's on her spreadsheet. There's one that's way further ahead of the rest. And we might need, I mean, Tommy pointed out the thickness of the envelope you get back tells you whether or not you get in. But now, Tommy, that was how it was when we got in. They'd mail you.
We get an email.
They get an email now.
I don't want to like look at my phone and it just says like the subject line is like
Sorry.
New York admissions.
Yeah.
New York University admissions.
Yeah. That's her school.
That's my dream school.
That's her dream school is NYU. So anybody listening that's got some insight to NYU, hit us
NYU,
up.
please.
Let us know. But we didn't have that pressure. So what else? Like, I mean, you're 16, you're driving now. So for a parent of a 16-year-old, the stress is you driving the car and going places and, smoking pot and drinking gimlets and all the stuff they did in Fault in Our Stars. That's what we worry about as parents.
Yeah,
so
you
are
guys need to
we
just like calm down?
Do you guys worry? Do y'all worry about? I mean, we're talking about the future, but
guys worry about
that affects your future. It can
You
derail
guys,
it.
like, just calm down, you guys. Like, we have put so much stress on ourselves that you guys worried about like the pot and the gimlets. They're not going to help anybody.
The pots, no, they're not going to help things because
No,
they're
they're not gonna
bad,
help.
bad for you.
No.
But what do kids worry about? Because you've said before to me that the things that I worry about is totally not on the radar for you guys.
Yeah, we don't. You guys put a lot more emphasis on things that might have mattered when you were younger, but like not really anymore.
Such as?
I don't know. Like when you guys were like kids of the 80s.
Yeah.
Like 80s were insane.
Best decade.
Like we're not worried about how high our side ponytail is.
Yours is pretty high today. Your back
It's
pony.
Okay, I was about to say about a side pony.
But we were worried about that.
Yeah, but you guys aren't gonna change because you're so strong in your.
But
stance.
kids in my generation were out drinking and doing drugs and stuff like
but
that. We didn't have
look
it
at you guys
documented.
now. You're a businesswoman. You're doing fine.
I wasn't because I wasn't
Please.
drinking in high
Mom,
school. I didn't drink in
You're
high
not
school.
gonna say it on air.
I did not drink in high school.
Please.
I didn't. Anybody listening from high school that would like to chime, I'm not saying
not gonna
college, but I'm just saying high school. I did not drink in
They're
high
not
school. I did not drink in high. Now,
You might not.
your
had any-
uncle might have.
and he's doing fine.
He is doing fine. That's true.
So I don't.
I feel like I'm more adjusted. No.
Well, I don't. Do we really want to get into
No,
that?
No, we probably
Live?
don't. You're right. But I feel like, all right, we didn't have social, which we'll talk about next time, but I worry as a parent, I worry about your future, not your future, but kids' futures. Like we're trying to make sure as parents that we are equipping you guys with everything we need or everything you guys need to, fly the nest and do all that. So what do we need, like as parents, what do we need to be doing?
That's like I'm 16 now.
Yes.
Pretty much whatever decisions you made when I was younger, they're pretty set in stone as of now. So
That is true.
so like
And
once
I
you
have
get to a
told
certain
you
age,
I will
it's
pay
not,
for your therapy when you're older
Thanks.
because
I
of all the
appreciate that.
mistakes I made as
I
a young
appreciate
one.
that. Anyway,
But they don't tell us this when y'all are young. They don't tell us when you're 2 or 3. Now's the time you're messing
like
up your
it's
kids.
like the formative years. That's
well,
what you
that would have
gotta
been
watch.
that Dr.
You don't need to
Spock,
worry
that
about
would have
me
been a
that
good
much
thing to put
anymore
in your book.
because I'm like, I have like my brain is like formed already.
But do you
Not
think
all the way,
that's
but-
because because of what parents instilled, what you kind of internally do, what?
Well, that's parents and society, because parents only do like half of it. So like the changing cultural landscape also plays into it.
Yeah.
But you definitely need, like, parents early on are the main. Why are you smiling?
I'm smiling because the
Who
comments
said
are
what?
rolling in. No, Lori, who I went to high school with, she just said there was that one night. Lori, I don't know which night you're referring to.
Because there was multiple.
No, there's not. And the Gimlets, I'll tell you what the Gimlets is. Gimlets, I don't even know what goes in a gimlet, but there's a movie, The Fault in Our Stars. It's
tears.
fantastic. Ugly cried. I mean, you ugly cried at that movie, and you're way less emotionless than me.
Are you kidding me right
you
now?
You ugly cried at that
Mom,
movie. She does.
I'm
ugly
more
cry.
emotionally. I'm more emotionless than you. Please.
We both ugly cry at movies a lot. That's
That
true.
and The Notebook.
I'll tell you about that.
And
in a minute.
Trainwreck. Trainwreck got me. That was a romantic comedy, and at the end, when Bill started crying, I mean, I was gone.
She's obsessed with Bill Hader. Just so you know, there's a thing. So all right, so the Gimlets, Lori, though, here's what happened in Fault in Our Stars. The mom, exactly what we're talking about. The mom was like, talking to the daughter because the daughter has cancer, and she wanted the daughter to have all the experiences you're supposed to have as a teen. And she's like, I want you to take the pot and drink the gimlets. And the daughter was like, take the pot and drink the gimlet. Like, apparently our generation doesn't know what's cool
You
anymore.
love to say that.
I say it all
to
the
us,
time.
too.
I know, I say it all the time because I think it's hysterical. You don't think it's funny though.
No, I don't think it's funny at all.
See, Lori did say she's kidding. We were really good kids. See, thank you, Lori. We
She's not
were.
going to say that publicly.
You're
You're going to get a text later going, that one night, junior year.
we were. I will say, because in high school, I was cheerleader in high school. Lori was cheerleader in high school, and so our coach was very strict, very, very, very strict.
I know the name.
You do know the name.
Coach Ball?
Coach Ball was very strict, and we were not. And I will say that I think that's a large part of why I didn't go crazy or do anything crazy as a high school, because I did have that adult that was gonna kill us if we did anything. And to this day, I'm super close with her, and we stay in touch. And she had a very big impact on my formative years, which back then formative years were high school. Right now, formative years are 7, 8, 9, 10.
Some of those middle school stories that we've heard,
It's not okay.
bless, man.
Yeah. So I have a middle schooler, and I have to defer parenting to this one over here because I don't even know what to do. Like I'll ask him, like, did I overreact? Did I not do this? What do I need to do? And Mia will give her teen input, because the middle schoolers now, they are wackadoodle.
I mean,
like,
they're wild.
They are wild. They're wilder than some of your friends.
Yeah.
So y'all listening with middle schoolers, y'all need to lock them down, lock the house, put them in the room. I may not let her out until she's 20 or 30, maybe 40.
You're going to just, like, never let her out.
Yeah, yeah. It's Dana just said that it takes courage for me to go on the air with my daughter. We've done this a couple times, but now she's starting to get a little bit more comfortable. And she did point out before we went on air that this is live, so there's really not a whole lot I can do based on what she decides to say. So we just don't know. We don't know. But all right, let's get back to the future.
Before we go any further,
Of course.
and
I'm getting thrown under the bus.
Well, this was
Proceed.
a mistake.
Proceed.
So before we went on air, Mom was like, "What should we call this episode? It should be Back to the Future or whatever." And I said, like, at the end, and I said, "Well, where we're going there, we don't need roads or whatever." Like the end quote is. She goes, she was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Mom, that is like one of the biggest quotes from Back to the Future." And she goes, "Oh, well, now I know."
I didn't know.
Please. Back to the Future is one of the biggest movies, and you didn't know, like, the main quote in it. If I said Great Scott, would you get that?
I get that. Great Scott. I do like him. He's funny.
What's his name in the movie?
Doc Brown?
Yeah.
Bam. How about that?
I said that before we went on anyway, so.
Oh, no,
I
I
hope
would
you got
remember
that.
Doc Brown. I just didn't remember the last movie because, the remembery gets a little rusty.
I have short-term
at my-
remembery loss.
At my advanced age. My short-term remembery loss is tough. But it's, you remember things like that. I do worry, when I think about the future, I don't know if y'all's kids do this, but Mia's got this compartment of her brain that holds just random tidbits of quotes and knowledge and
Thank you.
fun facts.
Thank you.
The fun facts she usually writes on a bracelet, flips through them when we're going
That
through
was
museums.
once. That was once at the Smithsonian.
You made a bracelet of fun facts at the Smithsonian that
Once.
you flipped through. It was handy. It was handy.
Yeah, and who knows a lot more about the Space Shuttle Discovery?
You probably
Well,
more than the astronauts.
not-
Well, yeah, we all know now
the
because
answer
we
was
learned.
you, but
yes.
I also know.
Okay, you do. But all right, let's think. So you've got this brain part that holds all these fun facts and these quotes and these
Thank you.
all of the movie and TV. And I do notice those of you guys that are watching the live stream, you can't see this if you're listening to the podcast. She has her Bartlett for America '98 shirt on. So anybody, I'm curious, anybody get that one? So those of you guys listening, Mitch is listening, of course. Your buddy.
Yeah.
Be his favorite. So Mitch is like, you guys are going to get Bartlett for America '98. She specifically wanted to wear this T-shirt in today
Just to
because
see who are the real ones.
she wants to know who gets her T-shirt because, I'm worried about her future. She's worried about bits and comedic timing and
Yeah, man.
she's worried. And I guess it goes back to a lot because I always say, find your people. I always say, find your people or not your people. And you're pretty good at that. That's what that shirt's about, trying to find your people.
Yeah, it's finding my people.
Mitch says, got it, my favorite show.
Oh yeah.
See,
He knows what's up.
he knows what's up.
He
We
knows
knew
what's
we
up.
knew that would happen. But it's all right. So for those of you guys that don't know Bartlett for America, it's from the TV series The West Wing.
Yes, The West Wing,
Which her
starring
dad and
Martin
I-
Sheen, Bradley Whitford. For a short time, halfway through the series, Rob Lowe,
Rob Lowe was in it. Yeah,
Allison Janney.
he's a looker.
Yeah,
Allison
he looks
Janney's very good.
He looks the exact
He
same.
doesn't age.
No, he doesn't.
What is that
Sam
about?
Seaborn walks in. I'm like, you look the exact same from Chris from Parks and Rec. Because he plays the same dude too, which is funny.
It's all this. See this tidbit, and this is why I worry about the future because I'm like, okay, if the brain is full of all these fun facts, where's the I don't know. Maybe that's what's going to get you through in life. You're
Yeah,
actually
my
academically
bits.
pretty good. Your bits. She is the queen of bits. All right, so back to the future, Miss Andre. You're shaking your head because you hate that. All right, so what else? Flip it to pretend like you're me for a minute. You don't have to. No, you don't have to act like me.
I'm not doing an impression.
You don't have to do. I mean, if you want to do an impression, you can. But pretend like you're me. What do parents need to be doing right now?
From your perspective or me talking about you?
No, let's not. Let's do it from my perspective. That seems safer.
Okay, so from the parents' point of view, the big issues are like partying
Yes.
and all the drugs and alcohol stuff.
Yes,
Underage stuff, which is illegal, guys.
it's illegal.
And then all of that just jazz. You guys mainly focus on that. Obviously,
Is that where we should be focused?
no.
How prevalent is that?
I mean, it exists, but like in the long run, like for the kids that do it, if they're not doing it to like a big, if it's not an issue,
Like
then
if
it's
they're
just
going to
it's just
a
them
party.
being high school
Okay.
kids trying to live life.
Okay.
So I don't think it's that big of a deal. Obviously, depending on the severity of it, or you guys focus a lot on grades, some of you, which is a point to be focused on.
Okay.
But I don't think it's like one of the main ones
But
because
but
we
I think
focus on that a lot.
We as in our household, or you kids?
Kids.
I don't focus
I don't-
on as much with you because you focus on it yourself.
Yeah,
I think that's the
I think
difference. Is
there's a handoff.
Right.
If your kids focus on it a lot, the parents don't really need to.
And I think that's what I've done with you to an extent
Kinda.
with Bailey.
Yeah.
I didn't do it as much with Bailey. With you, because you stress yourself out enough
Yeah.
about it, where I don't even need to ask.
Yeah.
I don't ask anymore because it stresses her out.
Yeah, it's bad.
But with some kids, the parent needs to play that role.
Some kids, it's like a big issue, and then the parent needs to step in, but others, it's not. So it's kind of just knowing your kid.
So drugs, alcohol, grades. What else?
Driving
Should
for
parents-
some.
Okay.
That's a big issue. Just, different aspects of it. I can't really
So,
be
all right.
specific.
So for those of you guys that are, I'm curious because driving is a big thing in our house. You drive. I love the fact she drives. I am, and
So I can run errands for you.
so she can run errands for me. So I know it sounds terrible, and people, I know this is not, it's totally not a problem everybody has, and we're very blessed to have this problem. But I did get we got Mia a car when she turned 16.
Yes.
And part of that was for me. Part of that was so she could pick up her sister if I needed her to, or she could run errands, or she could take herself to karate practice or things like that. So it was very practical to get a car. Doesn't mean I don't worry, because I do worry. But one of the things that seems to stress Mia out is, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm in the car with my child driving, I have a tendency to have somewhat skewed reactions.
That's what you do.
I jump.
You flail about to the cabin. You scream. You'll look up from your phone or something. We'll be 80 feet away from a slowing down car when I'm also slowing down, and you'll like lose your mind. You'll like throw your phone, grasp against anything that's there.
Okay, yes,
please.
I do.
You do. Or you'll be on a call and yell at me that I'm too close to the car in front of me when I'm literally 5 feet away from the car.
Occasionally when we're traveling and I'm doing, when I have conference calls, Mia drives so I can do my calls. It's great. It sounds great. I have a private chauffeur here, but I'm having to correct my show, and she's usually right, but it's that reaction. It's like I look up from my computer or whatever I'm doing, and there's a car, and I get that it's 80 feet away, but it's 80 feet away from hitting
We're on a
my
highway
child
in Atlanta. There's gonna be other cars.
But it's tough. It's tough. See, other parents are agreeing with me.
It's just a disconnect.
It is. So we do worry about that. I worry more when you're gone by yourself. So brings up.
Oh boy.
Which brings up tracking the phone.
Oh my God! Stop! Why do you guys do this?
So
it's trust. You guys don't. Why?
I trust you. I don't trust the other fools out there.
The other fools. What do you think you're gonna like?
What if you get kidnapped?
If I get kidnapped, then I went against the odds, and I should be on the news, and everybody should be looking for me. Your tracking of my phone is not going to help anybody.
It might. What if the kidnapper forgets to take your phone and ditch it? I'll know where you are.
Then it's going to be easy to find me because they're not a seasoned kidnapper. Jesus.
But these are the things parents worry about. Like when you're a parent, if you decide to have kids.
What are the odds that I would be the lucky one?
1 in 387,492. No,
that was
I really
funny.
don't know. Stop it.
Stop tracking our phones.
So the phone thing, I do track. I do have Find My iPhone.
I'll get a text going, so like, where are you? Because I looked at your location and you're like in this weird spot. I'm like, Mom, I'm literally with my dad.
Like once. Oh, because you're in the middle of the lake. Are you drowning? No.
Yeah, I'll be in the middle of the lake. Yeah, on a sail. And you're like, where are you?
No, I typically, all right, when I don't check the phone. Like I don't incessantly sit there and check the phone. I tend to check it
through my text and find like 5 from the last week going, so where are you? I looked at your location.
You cannot. I don't look at...
Please.
Most of the time I search the phone. Does anybody else search the phone?
Oh, they all do. That's the issue.
Yeah. I know, but I think there's 2 reasons. One, we didn't have this cool technology when we were little, and we know what we were out doing. Not in high school, but in college, we knew what we were out doing. And there's craziness.
Dad would just leave, and Grandma and Grandpa were chilling.
Your dad is not a good example. He's not.
You chose to have kids with him, meaning we look at him as an example.
I just mean he's the baby of 4. And by a long shot. So Grandma and Grandpa, they told me they were just tired by then. They're like, I don't even have time to check up on them.
You say you're tired all the time.
When was your dad how old was your dad when the police were first called on him?
Like 4.
4.
Yeah, but it wasn't
4.
It wasn't his doing.
He painted the neighbor's house.
That wasn't the issue. They by accident let the hose on and it flooded their garage.
Oh yeah, they painted the neighbor's house. Tried to wash the paint off of the house.
He was 4.
And flooded the garage. See, and if he had a phone actually, he probably wouldn't have had a phone at 4.
What are you gonna do? Track him and figure out?
Yes, we would have known he was at the neighbor's. His arrest record started. No, I'm just playing. It's a great story. It is a great story. But that's a difference. That's a difference because he was the youngest, and Grandma and Grandpa have said that because Grandma and Grandpa are really good parents, but they had 4 kids, and by the time your dad came along,
3. What do you? That's not.
Y'all are wearing me out too. I mean, thank goodness there's a tracker. I'd never find y'all. Y'all probably never come home.
No, Kennedy always shows up.
She does.
She always shows up. If she's gone and she doesn't have her phone's charging in her room, you get mad, but she always shows up.
Because she's hungry.
Exactly. You think without the tracking, she won't get hungry anymore?
So do you think, I mean, but the parents, like, I get your perspective, but the parents, we do these things because we worry. And we worry because
Yeah, I know.
we worry because what we hear and what, you know, what we've kind of been taught to worry about, you know?
Yeah.
We worry about our kids getting taken. I don't want any of you guys
I would
getting
hope you
taken.
guys worry about us getting taken. That's a point of concern, but
Yeah.
gotta take that chance.
Yeah.
YOLO.
So Rob said it's fair for kids to be able to track. Wait, is it? I can't say. Is it fair for kids to be able to track their parents? Actually, my location services is on.
I don't have. Please.
Kennedy has it.
Yeah, because you put her on Life 360.
No, she has mine. I can turn mine off. No, she has mine. And when
on
I
Life 360.
no, she has it on my iPhone too. Do you want? I love turn my location. She does. Go look it up. But I can turn it on. I don't care if my kids. I don't go anywhere that exciting. I turned it on when I went out of the country, in case I get kidnapped, because I didn't want y'all to worry about my kidnapping.
We wouldn't worry about your kidnapping.
They would not worry about my kidnapping.
Because for this reason, everybody would be looking for you. Your location services aren't going to change that.
I know.
And like the FBI or whatever have like special tracking things. They can find where your phone last pinged from, what towers or whatever.
All right.
Criminal
minds.
minds.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We'll get off the phone thing because I think we're going to agree to disagree on that one. But I do have some parent backing on this
They
one
probably
here
do.
too. Of course we do. So, all right. So let's talk about a little bit more with the future. Do you guys at your age think about family, what your life's going to look like in 10 years, 20 years?
Oh,
beyond career.
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
How deep are y'all
Mostly
going?
Kennedy does that a lot.
Yes.
She already has her name of her kids picked out. Gilligan, Gwart, and Mia, to name a few.
Yes. That's her. That's what it. Gwart.
Gwart.
Gilligan, Gwart, and Mia
But
are the
here's-
names my child has picked out.
But here's the thing about Mia. If Kennedy has a kid named Mia, I have to change my name. Because we can't have the same name, but she likes my name. So I'm going to have to change it.
Is that what she told you?
Yeah, she said, I really like your name, but you can't have it when my kid has it. I was like, great, Kennedy,
So
thanks.
she's thought a lot about this.
Yeah.
But
Kennedy dwells on the family side of it. And like the house and where she's going to live and all that.
yes. Yes, she does. She is very into that. But I think everybody's different because she'll dwell on like the family. You dwell more career.
I'm more career, and the career will influence like the family and where I live and stuff. Well, where I live, I'm kind of set on that, but
Yeah.
like that is what I focus on. Kennedy focuses on.
She's undecided on the family part.
No,
I mean, I
like
think she's going to
kids.
keep us.
No, I like kids.
She likes kids.
I like kids.
Varies by
I
the
would
day
want
whether
kids.
she wants them.
No, I would want kids, but it's just a matter of where I am
Where you're living.
career-wise.
Yeah. And whether you're living in New York or.
Well, even if I live in New York, I'm still...
They have kids in New York.
They do.
I've seen them.
No, I've actually seen schools. They're wild looking, but they're there.
There are schools there.
Yeah.
There are.
There are.
Your favorite, your favorite SNL actor just had a baby. He's going to be getting some schools.
Cosmo. That's his name. Cosmo Jost. The
Yes.
son of Colin and Scarlett. Very excited about it.
She's very excited about that. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, future.
Future.
What do parents need to do right now to best equip their kids for the future? Let's start with the younger ages first. Let's start with elementary.
Teach them morals. Morals are like the basis of everything. And
Yeah.
that's like what we try to teach when they're younger.
Do you think kids have those?
Do they have those? Yeah. If like
Well,
kids
I mean,
know
they-
if it's bad to like steal another kid's toy.
Right, but it sounds like you're saying teach them that like they.
No,
it
like
sounded
make
you're
sure
saying
they
don't
know.
have it. Okay.
No, make sure they know because like that is the foundation of everything. I'm alluding to the parenting episode that I was on because I talked about this.
Yes.
So I'm not going to go in depth because I did on the parenting episode.
Okay.
Go watch that. But like I think morals are the foundation. Make sure they have those, and then like basic skills, just like everyday stuff. You can't get too intense because their brain does not know how to.
Well,
like,
that's where we get into middle school too.
Yeah.
I think middle schools is
Middle
where some of the
school,
life
I-
skills start to come in.
I cannot. I don't even know what's going on in middle school because it was so different than when I was there.
But but
So I don't even know.
I agree with you. But you were in middle school 3 years ago.
I know,
And
but
it's
have you
changed
heard
that?
I
So
went to
now do you
BizTown
see- now do
and
you
I had an
see-
orange little blouse and a cardigan, and I was like a businesswoman in 7th grade. And then people in 7th grade are just like, now I don't like they scare me.
Yes.
They're terrifying human
Yes.
beings.
They are. But think about that. So look at the difference. Like, I've been out of middle school a minute.
I was about to say, are you going to date yourself?
I've been out of it, what, 30, more than 35 years I've been out of middle school.
Yeah.
I've almost been out of high school.
Bless.
Dang, we might as well get me a walker. But all right, so I've been out of middle school. So see the difference, like from then to now, 35 years. That's why our parents so different. You're talking 3 years, and you're already seeing a major, major difference, which truthfully scares the bejesus out of me for the future.
Yeah, but
Because middle school kids now, I don't
But if
know,
before-
they are seeing some stuff like it's
but
nuts.
before like you go to middle school, if you have that foundation built, you like they know what's right and what's wrong, so they can kind of govern themselves to a certain point. That out there, because the thing about middle school is there's outliers, and like that's what the stories you're hearing that we're both hearing from middle school is this is the outliers.
Right.
But like if the parents like teach them what's good and what's not early on,
Hopefully they won't
don't
fall
have to
into
really
that.
worry about that.
Okay.
It's really the outliers,
Yep.
which they have a whole story to them that
And then I want to ask about high school, but before we do that, Rob just said teach kids appreciation, teach them to save, to live within their means, teach them the great work ethic, to treat people right, give back, help out. These are all things, because we've talked about this before.
yeah.
Teach them their dreams can come true. I agree with that, but like, when are y'all learning? I mean, that's kind of a every age thing.
That's an every age thing, but mostly in formative years because it's hard to like your whole deal with breaking like making habits or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it takes a hot second, and morals aren't habits.
Right.
They're foundation of like
Yeah.
person. So like you have to teach those early on, or it's just never going to be taught.
Well, but like, do you see kids learning? Work ethic is very big
Well-
for me, and I've always said that to you guys. I'm like, I don't care. I do care how you do, but I care that you try your hardest.
Yeah.
That's my biggest
That's-
thing with
yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, that's a taught thing. I don't think people just learn that.
No, they don't. It's a developmental thing.
Yeah.
And it depends on like how you're brought up and like how you're what you're surrounded by.
Yeah.
So it all changes. But I'm just saying that like for the parents listening, if you have like young kids, just make sure they like know those different skills so they can build upon them.
It's true. And Kimberly said kindness and treat others how you want to be
Yes.
treated. I see that I hate to say going away, but I think in its middle school, I don't see it as much with your age group, but in middle school, this is where I see the kindness just going. They're friggin' mean.
Yeah, they're mean. And they seem like they would be mean to me, even though I'm like 8 years older than them.
They are mean to you. I've seen it.
Yeah, honestly.
But we had an episode one time with you were at the taking a walk with some of your friends, the sparring guy, your sparring team, and y'all were at the pool, and one of the middle schoolers mouthed off to you.
Yeah.
And
We
y'all-
almost threw hands.
She almost threw hands. It's true. All right, so you've got a middle schooler making it, and it was an inappropriate comment that was made, and I'll
It
say
was
it.
funny.
It was funny, but here's the thing. So Mia at the time, this is only like a year ago. So
A year ago.
Was it
was
more than
like
that?
3 years ago.
you were in high school.
Yeah.
And so the kid was in middle school. Mia was in high school, and he made a comment about her derriere.
Ew, don't ever say it like that.
Can I say ass on TV?
Yeah. Well, you just did. It's not TV. It's a podcast.
Okay, but still, I'm very flustered. All right, so he made a comment about her butt, right? And
It was quite a funny comment, honestly. I mean, if
but
it wasn't,
he's a kid. He's
he's a
middle
kid. That's the
school.
part where that's where
And you
the
were with
issue
two
arose.
guy friends of yours who are both like 6 foot something.
I was with like a whole group of friends. It was the pandas. It wasn't.
Yeah, but they were
Quarantine.
the guys are tall.
I mean, one of them's taller than
So
the
if you're going to
rest.
be a middle schooler and make a comment about a chick, probably wouldn't do it in front of a group of big guys.
Yeah, that was fun.
Mia almost hit the
I
poor
almost threw
kid.
hands.
She
I
almost
was
threw
not.
hands.
I was not gonna punch this guy. He's like literally like 2. Just kidding. He's like.
But that's the. I
11,
mean, it
but-
wasn't that wasn't kind because it was a flattering comment. However, this goes back to what Kimberly's saying is just
it's
model the
something
behavior.
that shouldn't have been said.
It shouldn't have been said. It shouldn't have been said. Period. Much less in front of people that could have pummeled. And I mean, y'all, he was clear in the fact it shouldn't have been said without throwing hands.
No.
I kind of wanted him to throw hands. I'm going to be
He
real.
was going to throw hands.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right, one more thing before we go, because this just came up. Entitlement. And it says it's completely unacceptable. I agree, and I find myself guilty of that, because I do think that a lot of us are in situations or in cities where it's, keeping up with the Joneses, which I've done. Matt and I did an episode on that last year, and we give you guys a lot of stuff. So I feel as a parent, it's tough to balance where that line is between providing you things that we want to provide you and entitling you or anything like that. And as soon as I said entitlement, you went, pfft. So what was that about?
Trying to phrase this where we don't get any
Where we don't throw hands.
well, not where we don't throw hands, get into topics that I'm not allowed to talk about.
There's only two. Do you think kids these days are entitled?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
That's like one of the biggest things ever.
Okay.
Because it's the background and the cultural landscape of today
Yes.
that really influences people.
But that's the parents' fault, don't you think?
Sometimes I definitely think it can be the kid, but I do think that the parents lead to some of it, because here's what it comes down to: your parents, they give you whatever you need to survive most of the time.
Right.
You give me food, shelter, whatever.
Yes.
So I expect that.
Yes.
But there's some people who don't have that luxury.
Correct.
So that makes people who do more entitled sometimes.
Yes.
And depending on how you're parented, that can come out. So I do think people are I've seen some pretty entitled people.
What can parents do to better that?
I couldn't answer that, because I definitely think people need to be more people need to acknowledge other
Situations?
yes,
or-
people,
yeah.
because everybody's in a different situation. People need to acknowledge each
Yeah.
other's situations, and if you do that, then you can be less entitled. I'm really trying not to do this to where it gets political, but
I've told her she can't talk about politics.
I'm having issues.
But it's. I mean, I see what you're saying. Because I do think that. Yeah, I do think there's a lot of, and I know you're not getting, and we won't go political because I just told her she can't do that. One, because I don't like to do that, and two, I'm trying to protect her. But we,
Don't even try to protect me. I can debate.
but I think there's, I see that on both. I see that in all walks of life and both sides, and I'll get, maybe more one than the other, but still. But I think part of it is, Kimberly just said this, teaching appreciation is the opposite of entitlement. And I think that's good.
Yes.
I think appreciation and gratitude.
Yeah.
You're good with gratitude, because I know you journal a lot and you do stuff like that. So you're pretty good.
Yeah.
How do you think kids, as we're wrapping, what would be some tips you would give kids or people your age to start being more gracious and kind and preparing for the future in a healthy way?
I would just take a step back and acknowledge the fact that some have a lot more than others, and do something to help that divide. Yeah. Because I feel that's one thing that's that'll definitely carry on to the future, is the divide between people. And I think that could be helped. And if you have gratitude and appreciation for things, it could really lead to much better situations.
I agree. I think that's a good one. Well, we're going long again next week. We're talking about social media, and Jason, our helicopter friend, just piloted. Our helicopter pilot friend just said that social media allows kids to be brutal to one another, and it desensitizes them in right and wrong. I agree with that. And Jason, that is what we are going to talk about next week. So you will have to check back in then too. So, Mia Andre.
And Kristen Andre.
Thank you for being here.
No problem.
On your day off of school.
Yep.
I love you. Thank you for being here. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep the comments rolling in. We'll be sure and respond to everything. But join us next week because Mia will be back and we are going to dive into social media. We'll see you then.